Ahoy, mateys! This is Captain Eric, host of the podcast I'm Ready, a SpongePod Squarecast, and also host of the Mixer show, Video Bob Game Pants, bringing you something a little different. If this is the first time you're hearing this voice, seeing this face, my name is Eric, and I host a podcast called I'm Ready, a SpongePod Squarecast. It is a family-friendly podcast in which I either speak with just myself or with guests about life, nostalgia, and of course a little bit of SpongeBob SquarePants, but it all mixes in. It's nice conversation. And to give explanation for all this stuff you're seeing on my screen, Video Bob Game Pants is a companion show to my podcast that is live on Mixer, in which I'm going to be playing every single SpongeBob SquarePants game, and of course, I also deem that to be family friendly as well, although that show has not started yet. So, in the meantime, I decided to take my little setup here that I usually do for SpongeBob drawings before I start my video game show, and I'm going to put it to use for this golden book. I was in Target the other day, and as I was passing by the book section, I noticed an entire section of books based off of new children's movies that have come out. One of which was the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. But of course, that movie was to be coming out this month, but it got pushed back to the end of July, and then pushed back even further later this year. But all of the merchandise for this movie is still coming out. So for $5, Little Golden Book, our classic series of books, and I thought, what is the harm in giving this book a read online, for any kids or for any families out there who just need some little distraction with what's going on in the world. So that's what we're going to do today. I've never read a book online. My voice has been used plenty of times in many different podcasts, shows throughout YouTube. So I've never done one of these story times, so we'll see how this goes. Obviously, if you like what I'm doing here, please follow any of the social media buttons at the bottom of the screen, and also share this video. Let people know what I'm doing, what I'm about, and if this gets so much popularity, then I would not mind bringing more read-alongs, more story times into what I'm doing over here, because even though it's just, I started with a podcast about SpongeBob, it is quickly expanding to many different ideas that still involve SpongeBob, but also are just different ways to entertain people. So, we have here the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. Welcome to Camp Coral. First and foremost, I am good with different voices, and as much as a fan I am of SpongeBob, I don't do a lot of SpongeBob voices, so I'm not going to try to emulate the voices. I'm sure that would be fun, but I don't want to embarrass myself too much here. So anyway, I don't know how many of you, I imagine the fact that they're still selling the Little Golden Books in stores, we have a lot of people, parents, grandparents who grew up with this series of books, and it was nice to see, because I grew up with, books like The Pokey Little Puppy, and to see something like SpongeBob on here, it was like, I have to buy that. So, welcome to Camp Coral. I don't believe this is, I've looked through the book. If you're worried about spoilers on the new movie, I really don't think this is going to spoil anything for you. I don't know if everything in this book is going to appear on screen, but it just seems like a fun little distraction. So, welcome to Camp Coral by David Lumen, based on the screenplay Tim Hill, illustrated by Heather Martinez. Great job, Heather. I love your designs here. Okay. I'll get my shadow out of the way there. SpongeBob was super excited. His parents were dropping him off at Camp Coral, the greatest summer camp in the 7 seas. He was going to have so much fun. "If you're lucky, son," said his dad, "you'll come home with 2 of life's greatest gifts, friends and memories." There we go. SpongeBob heard someone sobbing. He found a camper named Patrick crying because he was homesick. "Maybe all you need is a friend," SpongeBob suggested. "I don't have any friends," Patrick wailed. "Wah!" That's what's written, and cries. "Well, you've got one now," SpongeBob said cheerfully. "Really?" Patrick said, sniffling. "Who is it?" "It's me," SpongeBob explained. "I'll be your friend." The new friends had all kinds of fun together. It looks like they went frolicking, canoeing with Mrs. Puff, seahorse riding, and Patrick forgot about being homesick. They also did some zip lining there, nice little campfire with marshmallows, and archery. While SpongeBob and Patrick were jellyfishing, a squirrel named Sandy floated down to the ocean bottom. "Woo-hoo!" she whooped. "Hey, y'all critters of the sea, look out below!" SpongeBob introduced himself and Patrick. Sandy said she was from Texas and she liked to observe things like underwater life and report back to her sixth grade classmates. "You could be a scientist someday," SpongeBob told her. Sandy thought that was a great idea. That night, there was a talent show. A counselor named Mrs. Puff said the campers would vote on the best performer. Whoever got the most votes would win the Campy Award. Backstage, SpongeBob and Patrick were getting ready to perform their act. A camper named Squidward came in and introduced himself. Squidward was sure his clarinet playing would win him the Campy Award. Mrs. Puff introduced Squidward. He walked on stage and started playing. He made strange shrieking noises on his clarinet. Everyone was confused by the weird music. Some campers were even scared. Only SpongeBob and Patrick clapped and cheered. "Yay, Squidward," they said. Thank you, said Squidward, bowing. "Vote for me." SpongeBob and Patrick were up next. They sang a goofy song called Aka Waka Maka Mia. It was about a pufferfish who wanted to be really big. Patrick inflated SpongeBob until he was huge. Then SpongeBob shot around the room like a balloon losing air. He landed at another camper's mouth. The camper spit SpongeBob out. "Ta-da!" SpongeBob said, striking a pose. Squidward laughed. "Terrible. The Campy Award is mine for sure." But to Squidward's dismay, SpongeBob and Patrick won the Campy Award. Everyone clapped excitedly. Squidward ran off crying. SpongeBob and Patrick looked at each other, worried about their new friend. They found Squidward in his hut. "Guess what, Squidward?" said SpongeBob. "There was a big mistake. You won the Campy Award." "I did?" Squidward asked, thrilled. "Yep," Patrick said, handing him the award. As Squidward hugged his prize, SpongeBob winked at Patrick, who gave him a thumbs up. The next day, Mr. Krabs made delicious Krabby Patties following his secret formula. "You should open up your own restaurant someday," SpongeBob told Mr. Krabs. "You could make a lot of money." "Money?" said Mr. Krabs. He liked SpongeBob's idea. As SpongeBob walked away with his Krabby Patties, Plankton tried to sell him food from his chum-mobile. The tiny chef complained that everyone preferred the Krabby Patties. "Why don't you ask Mr. Krabs for his secret formula?" SpongeBob suggested. "Good idea," said Plankton. "I will." Plankton rushed to talk to Mr. Krabs. Splat! Thinking Plankton was a bug, Mr. Krabs swatted him with a frying pan. "Jerk," Plankton growled. "If it takes the rest of my life, I'll get you back for this." SpongeBob found a nice spot by the lake to eat his Krabby Patties. Just as he started to take a bite, he heard a meow. He looked down and saw a little snail staring up at him. Handing the snail a piece of food, SpongeBob asked, "What's your name?" "Meow." "Gary, huh?" SpongeBob said. "Well, hi, Gary. Do you want to be friends?" Meow. SpongeBob made lots of wonderful new friends and memories at Camp Coral. He thought it was the greatest camp ever. And that is SpongeBob Movie, Sponge on the Run, Welcome to Camp Coral. Totally not sponsored by Little Golden Book or SpongeBob, although both would be fantastic. I did notice they had a few other, on this little back list here, a few other SpongeBob books that I might have to look into getting. So that was the book. Very short, very nice little story there, and hopefully you like what you see here. If you like this video, please, whatever website you're watching this on, like, share, whatever you can do, comment, all of that helps. And please, let me look below right here. Follow me on all of those social media accounts. Like I said, everything I do with this show, anything connected to it is absolutely family friendly. Any of the posts I make, any of the content I create. So that's just a nice little notice for parents, because the last thing I would do is trying to make anything mature with SpongeBob. So I hope everybody out there is staying safe. This is Captain Eric signing off. Have a great night.
Magic Conj, will I ever get to meet Tom Kenny?
Maybe someday.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance. Okay. Should I tell fans of the show how they can support us?
Yes.
Goofy Goobers, supporting the show is shockingly easier than catching a blue jellyfish. Right from our anchor page, anchor.fm/SpongePod, you can find links to all of our social media and a support button if you happen to have a few extra clams. Also follow us on mixer.com/SpongePod where it's not only the official home to our sister show, Video Bob Game Pants, it's also where I stream live drawings of various Nickelodeon characters and host the opportunity for commissions and giveaways. Lastly, the official merchandise store is now open at redbubble.com/people/SpongePod, where various designs will be uploaded inspired by our show, including our official logo, which is now available on a multitude of products like t-shirts, stickers, duvet covers, and even a shower curtain. This is a podcast by a fan for fans and will always be fan-driven. Any way you see fit on supporting our show is much appreciated. Thank you and enjoy.